morning. Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thanks. Please have a seat. So I'm going to ask that you please start by stating your name for the record, first name and last name, please.
Jennifer Graves.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Nelson, your witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. Graves.
Good morning.
Mrs. Graves, what's your relationship to the defendant, Steven Powell?
He's my father.
And do you see him in the courtroom today?
I do.
What's he wearing?
He's wearing a white shirt.
Let the record reflect that the witness is identified the defendant, Mr. Powell.
And Ms. Graves, have you ever been to the defendant's home in unincorporated Pierce County in the South Hill area?
I have.
And how many times?
Maybe 3.
Okay. I'm going to show you what have previously been admitted as State's Exhibits 28 through 34.
Mm-hmm.
Can you thumb through those for me and let me know when you're done? And what do those items show?
His home.
Sorry, can you speak up a little bit, please, ma'am?
This is his home.
Thank you.
Now, Ms. Graves, I'm going to put up on the screen what's been admitted as Exhibit 30. Do you recognize what's depicted in Exhibit 30?
The area where his bedroom is.
And when you say the area where his bedroom is, where specifically in Exhibit 30 is that?
The kind of that place that sticks out.
So-
The windows right there at the top floor.
Okay. Where there's that kind of notch out from the
Yeah.
house?
Yeah.
And if you were walking into the house on the second floor, where was your father's bedroom?
You walk all the way, I mean, you go up the stairs and you walk all the way to the back of the house, down the hall, and it's at the very end.
Okay. Do you recall back in 2006 to 2007 who was living at the residence with your father?
At the time, my sister was, my brother was not. He had been kicked out of the home temporarily. So
Okay.
back in 2006 and 7, yeah.
Okay.
My brother John had been kicked out of the home.
And when was that about?
Over the summer.
In 2006? And you have to say yes or no.
Yes, sorry.
The court reporter types everything down, so you need to make sure that
Yeah, sorry about that.
they can't pick up knots.
Mhm.
And that was your brother John?
Yeah.
And how would you describe his appearance at that point?
My brother John's appearance?
Yes.
It had kind of gone downhill. He had gained a lot of weight. I think that at that point he had gotten a little scruffy with his appearance as well. He wasn't looking as good.
Okay. Did he ever wear a robe around the house, that sort of thing?
I, of course, didn't live there, but that seemed like when I visited, that wasn't uncommon.
And to your knowledge, was anybody else living in that back bedroom with that notched out window other than your father?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. I'm going to hand you what's previously been marked as State's Exhibit 114. Can you take a look at that and tell me if you recognize the handwriting in that item?
This looks like my dad's handwriting.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have any further questions here on these ones. Thank you.
Mr. Curry, please.
Good morning, Ms. Graves. How are you?
Good morning, I'm fine.
Okay, the house that we're looking at here, it was fairly large, right? There were 5 bedrooms?
I'd have to go through it in my head, but that sounds about right.
Okay. At one point, in 2010, 2011, a little bit later, there was, at some point, John was living there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your sister, Alina, was living there?
Yes.
Another brother, Michael, was living there?
Mm-hmm.
At one point, brother Joshua was living there?
Yep.
And,
With his 2 children.
His 2 children?
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, they were all living there at the same time, right?
Yes.
Okay. That would have been after 2006, however, correct?
Yes.
Okay. 2006, John was living there during part of 2006.
For a part, but during the period where, you know, it's thought that he made recordings.
Try to answer my questions, okay?
Okay.
So, he was living there during part of 2006.
Possibly at the very beginning, yeah.
Okay. At one point, he had some issues he was dealing with, mental health type issues, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And at some point, he had left, and you stayed there for about 10 days while you were all trying to find where he was, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was during 2006 sometime, right?
Yeah.
And he then came back, and then he actually went and left again and stayed in a home for some period of time.
Mm-hmm.
You have to say yes or no.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sorry.
And you don't know exactly which dates they were that he was staying in that home, correct?
Well, I don't have the paperwork in front of me, but I know that I went down there in June to go and help try and find him. He had been kicked out by my father, and he was wandering the streets at that time, and it was quite some time. It was at least 2 or 3 months before he was back.
Okay. So,
Very temporarily, before he went to a...
okay. But he'd been living there sometime prior to June, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
Yes.
Thank you. And he had dark hair?
My
Color?
brother John does, yeah, he has dark hair.
Okay. And when you were describing earlier, his hair at that point was a little bit longer and a little bit unkempt.
Yeah, he had kind of let himself go with the mental illness. It was longer, scruffy. He kind of looked like a mountain man.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that last answer? You said you looked like
A mountain man. Just
And you did then go back, you were back at the house at some point in about 2010, right?
the end of January.
Okay. And at that point, John was back living at the house.
Yes.
At that point, had Michael returned, had moved back in at that point too?
From the military, yes.
And in, when you were there around 2010, strike that. No further questions, please. Thank you.
Mr. Nelson.
I don't have any questions here. Thank you. Thank you, Ms.
Thank you,
Graves.
Ms. Graves. Thank you very much. Please step down.
Your Honor, may Ms. Graves sit?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. Your Honor, statement next called Detective Ellis Maxwell from the West Valley City Police Department.
Come on up, Detective. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thanks. Please have a seat. Could you please state your name for the record, please, first name and last name?
Yes, Ellis Maxwell.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Nelson, your witness.
Good morning, Detective.
Good morning.
Detective Maxwell, what do you do for a living?
I'm a police officer,
And for what department?
West Valley City in Utah.
And how long have you worked for the West Valley City Police Department?
About 15 years.
Do you have any law enforcement experience before you worked for West Valley City?
Yes.
Where is that?
Park City Police Department?
And that's also in Utah?
Yes, sir.
Can you describe your career history both in Park City and at West Valley City, and also your educational background as if you're reading from a resume?
Yes. I've been in police work for 19 and a half years, law enforcement. And in the course of my law enforcement career, I've investigated, I've worked patrol, responding to calls for service. I've worked in investigations, specifically youth crimes, school resource officer, child sex crimes, child abuse, homicide, internet crimes against children, and I think that might be it. And I've got about 6 credit hours away from my bachelor's degree.
And what's your current assignment with West Valley City?
Currently, I'm assigned to the Investigations Bureau, and I manage our sex offender compliance program and our college internship program.
Prior to this assignment, what was your assignment with West Valley City?
I was assigned to the homicide unit.
And how long were you assigned to the homicide unit?
2008 to 2012.
Did you assist in the service of a search warrant in Pierce County on August 25th, 2011?
Yes, I did.
And what was your role in the service of that search warrant?
My role was, I was the case agent on behalf of the West Valley City Police Department, working alongside with Detective Gary Sanders of the Pierce County Sheriff's Office.
And so were you and Detective Sanders paired up, for lack of a better term, as the lead agents from your respective agencies?
Correct.
Did you actually go into the residence and assist with the search at all?
I did.
And what area of the home did you search?
Specifically, Josh Powell's bedroom.
Okay. Did you also assist in the search of Steven Powell's bedroom?
I was present.
Okay. When evidence was collected, what was the procedure that was used, both first by Pierce County and then by you and your fellow officers from West Valley City?
When evidence was located in the residence, the finder, which would be a detective of either agency, would notify the photographer. They'd photograph the evidence item, and then myself and Detective Gary Sanders would be notified to review the evidence to determine whether it was pertinent to the investigation or not.
So before you would actually move anything, you would photograph it in place, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And describe the process. Say that there's a particular item of evidence that you decide is relevant and you're going to collect. How would you do that?
Once the item was photographed, we would, like I mentioned before, Detective Gary Sanders and myself would review the evidence and to determine whether if it was of evidentiary value to the investigation. From that point, either myself or Detective Gary Sanders would take that evidence to a designated location in the residence where evidence techs would then package and document and label that particular evidence.
Once it was packaged and labeled, where would it then go?
From that point, I would take the evidence and put it in a secure trailer that we had outside of the residence on the street.
And what's the purpose of the secure trailer?
To maintain the integrity of the evidence so that it wasn't tampered with.
Once you finish collecting whatever you determined or thought was of evidentiary value in the house and you put it in the trailer, what do you then do with the trailer?
Once we concluded with the search warrant at the residence and all of the evidence was accounted for in the secure trailer, that trailer was then transported to the Pierce County Sheriff's Department's facility, which was a secured facility behind locked gates. The trailer was padlocked, and evidence secure tape was put over padlocks and over the doors of the trailer. And the trailer was positioned in a fashion that the back rear door was right up against the chain link fence, preventing access, and the side door was as close to another trailer, preventing the accessing the side door.
Now you mentioned that you secured the evidence or you secured the trailer, excuse me, with tape. What does that mean?
The tape is put over the openings of the doors, and then it's signed, which I would sign it, so that in the event someone was able to access the trailer, it would break that tape seal, and which then would tell us that our evidence had been possibly compromised.
Eventually, is that trailer transported back to West Valley City?
Yes, sir.
And when it arrives at West Valley City, what procedures do you follow?
Once the trailer arrived in West Valley City, I again photographed it, examined the seals, examined the locks, and verified that access had not been made to the trailer.
How did you determine that access had not been made into the trailer?
The evidence seals were still intact and had not been tampered with or broken.
So at that point, do you then open the doors, which breaks the tape?
Correct.
Okay. So you know at that point you're the one that's broken the tape, not anyone else.
Certainly.
The evidence in the trailer, do you go through all of it yourself, or did you assign work out to other investigators to go through some of the evidence?
Later, there were assignments made with the evidence and as to who was going to review the evidence.
Did you assign anything in particular to one of your colleagues in West Valley City named Todd Gray?
Yes.
Do you recall what you assigned to him?
He was assigned multiple items of evidence. Primarily, he was assigned to review photographs, documents, compact discs.
Do you recall a particular item that was identified by your agency as item number 45?
Yes.
And is that also known as disc number 12?
Yes.
And what was that item?
That's a compact disc that was located in Steve Powell's bedroom.
And did you observe that item initially when it was in the defendant's bedroom?
Yes.
Where was that item located in the defendant's bedroom? Do you recall?
I want to say that it was inside of a box with other items of evidence.
Detective, I'm going to show you what's been admitted as exhibits 25, 26, and 27. Can you take a look at those for me, please?
Okay.
And do you recognize what 25, 26, and 27 show?
Yes.
Okay. First, I'm going to put up, again, 25 has been previously admitted. I'm going to put Exhibit 25 up on the screen. What does 25 show?
That photograph depicts an area in Steve Powell's bedroom showing several boxes, cardboard boxes that are filled with material.
And then I'm going to put up 26 on the screen. What does 26 depict?
26 depicts a cardboard box, again, that was in the previous image in Steve Powell's bedroom, and that is an item of evidence. That box was taken as evidence.
And I previously, when you were on direct, I previously asked you a question about item 45. Exhibit 26 shows a yellow evidence placard with the number 45 on it. Is that how you determine that it was item number 45?
Yes.
And these placards, does it just start from 1 to infinity, essentially?
Correct.
And what's the purpose of these placards?
To identify the evidence as it's located. So placard number 1 would be, if there was an item of evidence located, placard number 1 would be placed on it. It would be photographed, then the placard number 1 would be placed on it, be photographed again, and then it's cataloged by those numbers. So that way the evidence doesn't get mixed up.
Okay. And I take it that both Pierce County and West Valley City use the same numbers to identify the evidence, meaning
Yes.
45 for Pierce County is 45 for West Valley City?
Correct.
Okay. And then I'm going to show you what's been admitted as exhibit number 27. Can you tell the jury what that shows?
That's after the lid's been taken off of the box, and just an overall image of what is inside of the box.
And so, again, we mentioned item 45, and then I also mentioned to you disc 12. Is disc 12, what's the significance of the number 12?
Disc 12 would be the 12th disc that was cataloged inside of that box.
Okay. Did you initially review disc 12, or was that assigned to Sergeant Gray?
That would have been Sergeant Gray.
Did you ever have an opportunity to review disc 12?
Yes.
And just in general, can you describe what you observed on disc 12?
On disc 12, there was one of the particular items of interest, digital media, on that disc was a folder that was labeled Bath 1 and a second folder that was labeled Bath 2.
And is there any reason in particular why those items or those folders and the items in those folders gave you any cause for concern?
Yeah.
And what's the reason?
There were thousands of images that were that depicted young children that were naked.
Okay. And once you observed that, what steps did you take?
I documented more specifically, I believe, the number of images and where those images may have came from.
At some point, did you notify the Pierce County Sheriff's Department, and more specifically Detective Sanders, that you had located these photographs on this disc?
Yes, I did.
And at that point, did you, well, why did you advise them of that?
I advised Detective Gary Sanders, Pierce County Sheriff's Department, because I believed that these items of these images were illegal in nature to possess.
And at that point, did you provide him either the original or a copy of this disc?
Later, yes, I met with Detective Gary Sanders and provided him the evidence.
Okay. And I take it at that point, he took on his investigation and you were not necessarily involved in that end of it?
Correct.
Okay. I'm going to hand you what's previously been marked as State's Exhibits 106 through 113. Detective, if you can take a look at Exhibits 106 through 113 and then just let me know when you're finished.
I'm finished.
In general, what do 106 through 113 depict?
These images display a video camcorder, Sony.
And are these accurate depictions of that camcorder?
Yes.
And did you take the photos?
Yes.
All right, offer 106 through 113 inclusive.
Any objection? Thank you. 106 through 113 are admitted without objection.
Permission to publish, right?
Yes, you can publish those exhibits.
Detective Maxwell, I'm first going to put Exhibit 106 up on the screen. Obviously, this doesn't show a camcorder. What's the purpose of this image?
That is an identifier, a marker, identifying my name, the date, and the case number.
Okay. And what's the purpose of that?
It's to identify, basically to identify the date and the case number that this is relevant to the remaining images of that DVR, or that, sorry, camcorder.
Now I'm going to put up Exhibit 107 on the screen. What does 107 show?
That is a nylon black camera bag.
And where was this item located in the residence?
It was located in Steven Powell's bedroom.
And did you locate the camera, or did someone else involved in the search locate the camera?
No, Detective Fonsmo had located it with West Valley Police Department.
Okay. And what happened once it was located?
Again, the protocol of notifying the photographer, which came and photographed the item, and then myself, Detective Gary Sanders, were notified to come and look at the item as well.
Now I'm going to show you on the screen what's been admitted as Exhibit 109. And what does 109 depict?
That is an image of the video camera that was inside the black nylon bag that was previously shown.
And then finally, Detective, I'm going to show you, I'm going to put up on the screen Exhibit 113. What does Exhibit 113 depict?
That image identifies the camcorder's serial number and make and model and where it was made.
What's the particular significance of the information contained in Exhibit 113?
That model number, DCRTRV460, is the same characters that are associated to the tag of the photographs of the naked children that were found in folders, bath 1 and bath 2.
At some point after you view this disc and view the items on the disc, did you come back to Washington and assist Detective Sanders at all with his investigation?
I did.
And did that involve doing what we describe as a knock and talk?
Yeah.
And what's a knock and talk?
A knock and talk is where a police officer believes there may be potential witnesses or a location of where a crime may have committed or victims, and it's simply just knocking the doors and making contact with the folks that live there to question them as to what their involvement may or may not be. So just to gather information.
And did you perform one of these contacts with the individuals living in the house behind/next door to the Powell residence?
Yes, I did, with Detective Gary Sanders.
And did you actually go inside the residence?
Yes, sir.
And so I take it you just explained to them that you're doing an investigation, that sort of thing, and you just wanted to look around inside the residence?
Correct.
I'm going to hand you what's been marked as Exhibits 101 through 105. Can you take a look at those for me and just let me know when you're done looking at them?
Yeah.
What, in general, what do 101 through 105 depict?
Those images are the images that I took of inside the residence. It's a loft on the second level of the residence, and my position, my back was up against a window, which that window was in clear line sight of Steven Powell's bedroom window, and I'm shooting the image towards the bathroom with the open door.
Your Honor, I'd offer 101 through 105 inclusive.
Objection. 101 through 105 are admitted without objection.
Permission to publish, Your Honor?
Yes.
Detective, I have 101 up on the screen now. Can you describe for the jury what that depicts?
Yes, the target of the photo is of the bathroom with the open door, the light on, which is to the right. But these, can I make a comment?
It looks like the image is reversed, actually.
Yes.
Okay. Detective, I have Exhibit 105 up on the screen, and that's the correct orientation. Is that right?
That's right.
What does 105 show?
That's a closer image of the bathroom, which shows with the layout as far as where the toilet, bathtub, and sink and cabinet is located.
And again, these images, you indicated that your back is basically up against the window that looks into the loft. Is that correct?
Correct.
Did you turn around and look out of the window of the loft?
Yes.
And what direction did that window face?
Looking out the window, you can see the backyard in the back of the home of Steven Powell and Steven Powell's master bedroom window.
Detective, I'm going to put up on the screen what's previously been admitted and published as Exhibit 28. Can you see the two, first the loft window, can you see the loft window in Exhibit 28?
I believe it's the one off to the left.
Let me show you.
Sorry, that image doesn't look familiar.
Let me show you first Exhibit 31.
Okay.
Looking at Exhibit 31, does that help you with your orientation
Yes.
for Exhibit 28?
Yes.
Where's the loft window in 28?
This one here?
Correct.
Yes, it's on the right.
Okay. And it's the second floor window. Is it the house that has the satellite dish visible on the edge of the picture?
Yes, sir.
And then where was Mr. Powell's bedroom?
To the left. The home with the white siding, the double pane window.
And so when you're talking about your orientation for the photos you took, your back is basically up against the window on the right in this image.
Yes.
Thank you, Detective. I don't have any further questions here.
Thank you. Mr. Curry, questions for Detective Maxwell?
Sure, thank you. Good morning, Detective Maxwell. How are you doing?
Good morning. Good, thank you.
All right, so we showed some pictures of the camera and camera bag. You took those pictures yourself, right?
Correct.
And those were taken later. There was a date stamp on that heading, or the placard that you had up there with your name on it, documenting the photos. Those were taken in May 11th, 2012, right?
Correct.
So these weren't the photos taken at the time that the camera was found at the house?
Correct.
To clarify, you talked about that the DCR TRV 460, the reason you took the picture of that part of the camera, identifying that as its model number, right?
Correct.
And you said that that was associated with the images found in folders, the Bath 1 and Bath 2 folders, right?
Correct.
And you did that by clicking on those photos and right-clicking and checking properties, correct?
Right.
And they listed that those photos had been taken by that model camera, right?
Right.
Okay. There wasn't anything in that properties that shows they're taken by that, the actual serial number of that camera, correct?
I did, correct.
Okay. So you could tell they were taken by that camera or a similar model camera is what you could tell from that.
From what I investigated, yes.
Okay. There was nothing that was with those photos that said specifically, you can't say 100%, this is the camera that took the images. Correct?
Not just by clicking on properties and doing it that way, no.
Right, okay. And you yourself didn't locate the camera in the house, right?
I did not know.
Somebody else of the crew that was there located that?
Correct.
And it was actually, it was a fairly large group of individuals searching the house, right?
You're right.
I think we've already heard, but there was roughly 10 or so from West Valley,
Right.
and there were roughly 10 or more from, probably a few more because they were also establishing the scene security and some other things.
Right.
From local law enforcement.
Correct.
And the search took roughly about 10 hours total to complete.
Roughly, yes.
And all the items that were seized at that time, everything that was taken as potential evidentiary value was put into that same, the trailer, the Utah trailer, correct?
Correct.
Okay. It went to the local precinct for a few days and then was driven back to Utah before it was opened.
Correct.
Okay, and then was, because this was your investigation in Utah at that point, it was just, local was assisting here. But all those items went back to Utah for
Correct.
use. Okay. So initially, it's all officers and detectives in Utah who are, you're then assigning these pieces out, take a look at them, see if there's anything that we care about.
Right.
Okay. There were, there were quite a few items taken, right?
Yes.
A bunch of different computers,
Correct.
a whole bunch of digital storage devices.
Correct.
You say this is number 12, disc number 12. There were quite a few other either CDs or DVDs type
Correct.
storage items. This is the only one that you brought back to Detective Sanders as having potential images on it that would be concerning to him in relation to underage children in some sort of state of undress, correct?
Correct.
And this disc had hundreds of folders on it, correct?
I'm not sure about hundreds, but there were several folders.
Okay. There was more than 20, right?
Correct.
Could there have been closer to 100?
There could be.
Okay. And you didn't locate pictures of nude underage children in the other folders, correct?
No.
Okay. There was nothing physically about the disc when looking at it that labeled it, this disc belongs to Steven Powell, correct?
No.
Okay. And there was nothing about the box that it was found in that said, this is Steven Powell's stuff?
No.
Okay. And there were a lot of other boxes that were gone through, right?
Yes.
And there were a lot of other, you sort of already answered digital media, but there was also VHS tapes.
Correct.
And some of these items were found in various places around the house, right?
Some items, yes.
But not this. You already described where these specific ones we're talking about. This one was found, but there were other computers found in other places in the house.
Correct.
And there were other digital media in boxes or whatever found in various places around the house.
Correct.
Okay. You also, I think you said Officer Gray was originally the one who was examining this particular piece of evidence, right?
Disc 12, yes.
Okay. Since as the chief case officer, anytime any of the, when you divided up that task of reviewing the evidence that you brought back to Utah,
Okay.
any of the officers, when they found something that they thought might be of interest or evidentiary value to you, because you're the case officer, they would then bring that information to you, right?
Correct.
You're kind of the central guy who knows what is useful and what's not.
Right.
Not everybody that was reviewing was specifically working on that case the entire time, right?
No.
Okay, they're just other officers that know, okay, I'm looking through this, I kind of know what sort of stuff they're looking for. So if I find something, I bring it to you, you say, yeah, we don't care about that, or yes, wait a minute, that thing we need to keep track of and document.
Correct.
Okay. And there wasn't, nobody brought anything to your attention to indicate, okay, we figured out that this disk was viewed on this computer, correct?
More specific, I mean, as far as that disc being viewed on that detective's computer, or?
So, to be clarified, I'm talking about the disk we're talking about that has the two files that we're concerned with here.
Right.
There wasn't anything of the other computers and items taken from the house.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't anything found that identified that this disk connected had been viewed on computer number 34 taken from whatever room.
I see.
Does that be accurate?
Yes, that is accurate.
Okay. And you couldn't, well, let's see. Oh, when you were at this, on August 25th, at the scene when you were serving the warrant, okay, and then just to clarify a little bit, this was, because you're in Pierce County jurisdiction, that's why they're assisting you, right?
Correct.
And they were providing the scene security, right?
Correct.
So you weren't the first person like walking up to the door, correct?
Correct.
It's typical that if you're working, you're a detective, you're serving a search warrant on a case like this, you have a number of uniformed officers around that kind of take care of that sort of thing, right?
Correct.
So with the caveat that you weren't the first person in the door, so you don't know who was in the house when you immediately arrived, you became aware of certain other individuals who had been in the house or were there during some of the time that you were there, right?
Right.
There was an Elena Powell,
Correct.
a Josh Powell, right?
Correct.
Charlie Powell, or Charles, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and Braden Powell,
Correct.
and John Powell.
Right.
Steven Powell was not there at the time when the warrant was being served, correct?
Correct.
No other questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Nelson, anything further?
Detective, Mr. Curry asked you about the images that were contained in Disc 12 that were of concern to you, and whether there were any other images of that nature on the disc, and you indicated there weren't, other than those folders that you've identified. Is that correct?
Correct.
Did you go through all the other folders on that disc in order to be sure?
Me specifically, no. However, Detective or Sergeant Gray did.
Okay. Thank you. have any further questions, Your Honor.
Anything based on that?
No.
Okay, Detective Maxwell, you can step down.
Thank you.
Your Honor, the court's aware we have a witness who wasn't available till Monday, so that's it for today.
So, jurors, that's all of the state's witnesses for today. I believe the state has one more witness, and that witness will be here Monday morning. After the state puts on its witness Monday, we'll see what happens from there. If, in fact, the defense decides it wants to put on any witnesses, it can do so. I expect that on Monday, we will actually be instructing you on the law, and I expect that probably by Monday afternoon, deliberations will begin. So, we don't have court tomorrow, as you know. I just want to remind you of the cautionary instructions. You're not allowed to discuss the case among yourselves or with anyone else. You've just heard part of the testimony so far. Please don't view any media reports, don't read any, don't look at any television reports about what goes on in court or about this case, and please don't do any internet research about any of the locations you've heard, or any of the parties, or West Valley City Police Department, or anything about this case. Any questions at all? Okay. So we are adjourned until Monday morning, and we'll start at 9 again. Thank you very much. Please leave your notepads on your seat.